Well, thank you so much for coming out today, and thank you so much to all of our guests who are visiting Albuquerque. We are here to talk about the city's new Office of Financial Empowerment. So to kick us off, it's my pleasure to introduce the Director of our Office of Equity and Inclusion, Sonia Lara.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. We're so excited for this moment. It's been a while in coming. We're so grateful for the work that's been established to bring us to this point. And as we think about that, we also acknowledge our 19 pueblos, our 4 nations that were here since before statehood, and we commit to being better stewards through relationships with indigenous communities. We acknowledge other injustices that were endured by communities, such as the forced labor of 12 million enslaved Africans taken from their homelands, the Native American children separated from their families that were placed into boarding schools, the 120,000 Japanese Americans that were displaced from their homes and lost their possessions, who were confined to internment camps here in New Mexico. So we acknowledge those spaces as well. We understand the work that we do through the Office of Financial Empowerment is a service, a resource that will help to remediate some of those harms we believe, and we believe deeply in the partnerships we'll develop. We understand also that as we look at the generational inequalities that are affecting our marginalized communities, that have affected them to build the generational wealth as they are struggling to survive, that Albuquerque is a city that wants to fight to correct that. And so as we do that, we as the Office of Equity and Inclusion recognize our role as culture bearers, as practitioners, and that we are often in a position to stand in the space, to hold space, and to grow community as we pass on these stories and practices that are essential to Albuquerque's history. And so again, as we launch the Office of Financial Empowerment, the Office of Equity and Inclusion aims to generate economic wealth that matches the wealth of our communities and our cultures, in that space that provides and that outcome that we seek to see of transformational financial security. Thank you.
Are you MCing? Yes.
All right, and next we're going to hear from our mayor, Tim Keller.
I didn't know if I was next or not. My bad. All right, well, you know, we're gathered here really, I think, to just step back a minute and reflect on a couple of things. You know, one is our city has had a strong and effective equity and inclusion department. And part of the vision for that is about community engagement and supporting folks who need it most in our community. And that's why you see us working on programs like Guaranteed Basic Income. It's why you see our liaison efforts with different communities of color in our city. And it's also why you see some of our culture change work, all the great things that this department does. But a key component that we've continued to build is about financial empowerment. And we see this sort of take place in a number of ways, but I think the first step is just to remind folks that, you know, unfortunately for a long time, Albuquerque, again, unfortunately has been one of the lowest income cities, the highest at-risk cities, highest at-risk populations for poverty and homelessness for decades, right? This is the unfortunate part of our history that's been with us. And one of the charges of this office is to say, you know, what can we actually do about that? And it's a reflection of, I think, a couple of things. You know, one is that, look, all across the US, 1 in 5 households actually have 0 or negative net worth. And there's a whole issue there around debt, and also around how you work with a banking system and so forth for low income communities. So that's an American challenge right now. That's number one, which of course we're a part of. But then, as I mentioned here, you know, we know that in Albuquerque, 40% of households have delinquent debt. 40%, think about that. It's almost 1 in every 2 person that you see. And so this is one of these quiet problems that people don't talk about a lot, because in many ways it's embarrassing. This is the kitchen table discussion, the discussion about how we pay bills, the discussion that we're just a few bills away from losing our house, a discussion that is all too often too common right here in Albuquerque. So that's why the city is launching our Office of Financial Empowerment, or OFE. And this is a step to identify different tools and resources that are available to try and help stabilize the financial future of families in Albuquerque. And we know that even a part of this, which has been long tested, is about financial education. And it's this notion that Unfortunately, families that come from money tend to educate their kids on how to manage money. But the inverse is also true. Families that have struggled typically don't give that kind of guidance at home, or maybe parents are working, so there's no time for that, or the single parent is working. So how do we get that financial education into the system to break the cycle of poverty that creates generational challenges with respect to income? And it's really about making more informed decisions and being aware of the tools available, even in things like the banking system. But of course, we know that that system in Albuquerque includes community banks, it includes awesome credit unions, it includes life insurance companies, all local entrepreneurs, many of them who have even faced financial struggles themselves. And when you put all of that together, that is really the collective background that is represented by the board that we're introducing today. Now, the programs that we're going to run out of this include safe and low-cost banking options. This is something that our Bank On program has been working on for many years, but now we're able to accelerate and really ramp that up. And again, it's even helping folks who are going from, basically the age of 18. So they're going from high school and they're becoming adults, and they need their own credit score, but a good one. And they need their own way to safely have their own funds as they become independent. And so even part of that is what our Bank On program is going to work on. And so we know that actually the city population without bank accounts is about 5.3%. That is a full percent higher than the national average. So here again, we see a situation where Albuquerque can do better, and this office can help us do better. And so we're collaborating with local organizations and employers and financial institutions to make this happen and make pathways for folks to thrive, not simply survive. That's what we're trying to accomplish with the Office of Financial Empowerment. So we're going to hear more about the mission of this and hear from some of the folks on our advisory board. So I'm going to leave the details to them. We do have a fun brochure. Did we have this? Okay. So thanks. So what we do have for our members in the media, but also we'll put this online and be sending it out, is our Office of Financial Empowerment guide that we're putting out. And of course, it's all digitally available on the back with the partner organizations. And of course, little wonderful bios of everyone who's involved in our board that we're introducing here today. And so we're excited to start this effort, essentially restart this effort, but in a much stronger way. Also because of some support that we're getting from an amazing organization. And so I want to thank the Cities for Financial Empowerment. We're going to hear from them, but that is a national organization that's been working with Albuquerque in a number of ways, in a number of forms throughout the years. But they're the ones who are really providing the extra oomph behind this effort. And so I think I'll go ahead and introduce them. And so I know Kant and Amelia, they're here. Come on up. Tell us all about the great work you're doing all around the country.
Thank you, Mayor Keller, and thanks for your vision and long commitment to this work. Good morning. My name is Amelia Irwit. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the national nonprofit Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund. I'm thrilled to be here to celebrate the launch of the City of Albuquerque's Office of Financial Empowerment. Huge again thanks to and congratulations to Mayor Keller, to Sonia Lara, and to Nina Cooper. Thank you for your energetic leadership and commitment to making this initiative a success. My organization, the CFE Fund, supports cities with funding and focused technical assistance, helping mayors and their teams offer large-scale, systemic financial empowerment programs and policies for their residents. We help local governments launch and implement programs that stabilize residents' finances. Since the CFE launched in 2012, we've worked with almost 150 governments and supported our government partners with over $69 million in direct grant funding. When we started this work, the idea that government, especially local government, had a unique and valuable role to play in building residents' financial stability was a new idea. For a long time, there was an idea that when people had trouble with their finances, it was a private problem, something that they needed to work out on their own. But we've seen, and what this announcement today underscores, is that this work is too important for local government to not be involved. We know that people's financial lives are connected to their ability to thrive in so many ways, and local government has a stake in ensuring their success. It's a huge and important investment in this idea to not only be doing this work as a city government, but to be planting it firmly in the infrastructure of government service by launching a dedicated Office of Financial Empowerment. Investing in an office with strong, dedicated leadership will make sure this work continues to grow and to connect to other city priorities. The City of Albuquerque is launching this office with a strong foundation of financial empowerment programs already. We've worked with the city since 2018 on programs ranging from Bank On, which aims to connect people to safe and affordable banking, to consumer financial protection work, to Summer Jobs Connect, which adds safe banking access and targeted financial education to summer youth employment programs. In 2022, Albuquerque was invited to join the Cities for Financial Empowerment Coalition, an invitation-only group with cities' deep mayoral-level commitment to financial empowerment efforts. As one of only 19 cities in the coalition, Albuquerque is already a national leader in the municipal financial inclusion field. Albuquerque has continued to innovate with efforts like its new Guaranteed Basic Income program, and we're thrilled to continue to partner with the city to build an OFE. I'm thrilled to be in town, as the mayor mentioned, with my colleague Kanta Sai to help to support this work, to meet with the OFE advisory group here behind me, and city agency leadership, local philanthropic partners, and other key stakeholders from across the community to share our national perspective and lessons learned from other cities across the country. And the CFE Fund is excited to continue to help the City of Albuquerque grow its financial empowerment work and to connect Albuquerque to other cities that want to learn from your important efforts here. Thank you again to Mayor Keller, Sonia Lara, and Dr. Cooper, and a huge congratulations on the launch of Albuquerque's Office of Financial Empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Cities for Financial Empowerment for all of their support here in Albuquerque. To talk more about what this means for our community, I'd like to introduce Dr. Nina Cooper from our Office of Equity and Inclusion.
Good afternoon. We are thrilled to be here today. Today we celebrate and officially launch the City of Albuquerque's Office of Financial Empowerment. Hooray! During the past 18 months, our office, which is situated in the Office of Equity and Inclusion, has worked vigorously to become a vital resource and dedicated to support financial well-being of all people of Albuquerque, especially those who are low income and moderate incomes. Our vision is to create an inclusive and resilient Albuquerque where financial stability is a cornerstone of community well-being and long-term financial security. Our mission is to integrate financial empowerment strategies into the city and help eliminate systemic barriers and also work towards closing the racial wealth gap. Why is the Office of Financial Empowerment necessary? You just heard our mayor talk about the poverty in our city. 16% of our residents live in poverty, which is noticeably higher than 12.5% nationally. Debt, according to the Urban Institute, the 40% of Albuquerque households having delinquent debt, also half of those lack sufficient finances to handle emergencies. Predatory loans. During the 2022 legislative session, a new law was passed reducing the maximum annual interest rate on small loans from 175% down to 36%. But even these rates are too high, especially for the poorest and most vulnerable. So what have we accomplished in these last 18 months as we prepared for our launch? We focused on 4 areas: asset building, banking access, consumer protection, and financial counseling. And on last week, you heard about our guaranteed income program that we're launching that will benefit 140 individuals or families in our community. 80 of those will be focused towards schools in our lowest performing area, 2 Title I schools, one in the International District and the other on the southwest side of the city. Our goal is to help uplift families, to give them assistance to become strong, and we give them the wisdom to use their discretion on how they're going to use the funds to improve the quality of life in their family. Banking access. My colleague is coming up next to me right now, Vanessa Arballo. She has been instrumental in this process, and she's going to talk about that, but we've also done consumer financial protection, and we're really starting to aggressively empower our financial education and counseling so that people understand and effectively use banking, credit, budgeting, and other financial tools. So in closing, I'd like to again acknowledge Amelia Erwitt and Kant Desai, representatives of the Cities for Financial Empowerment, whose support has helped bring to fruition our vision of economic inclusion. Again, Mayor Keller, who cast the vision, members of the City Council who supported the passing of laws such as the Marijuana Equity Tax Ordinance that fund in part the financial empowerment initiatives such as Guaranteed Basic Income. Institutional members such as the Bank on Burke Coalition, Financial Empowerment Advisory Board members, and local funders. I would also like to thank staff of the Office of Financial Empowerment, past and present, and here with me today is Vanessa Arballo. Would you welcome her at this time?
Hi, thank you so much for being here today, and I'm excited, just like everybody else here today, to officially launch our Office of Financial Empowerment. As she mentioned, I'm the Bank on Burke Program Manager here with the City of Albuquerque, and in this role, I really try and reach out to communities, especially those in most need of financial accounts and whatnot. So with Bank On, the biggest thing that we like to highlight and let people know is there are accounts that are available for everybody. These aren't accounts that are restricted. So if you have an ITIN, you are able to get a bank account. That's something that a lot of people aren't aware of. And we also have accounts that are available for youth who might not have somebody who can come out and open an account with them. They don't have a parent or a legal guardian. So we have some financial institutions that we work with that can open accounts for individuals as young as 13 years old. But there are safeguards in place for these youth where they don't have the risk of overdrawing. They don't get charged unnecessary fees. So that's some of the things that we're working on. We have also started having presentations at our senior centers here in town around Albuquerque, and we're talking about fraud and scam awareness for our seniors because unfortunately they're a very vulnerable population that are taken advantage of. So it's another initiative that we've been working on. And a big one that we've been working on is trying to bring access to banking more to our communities and bringing them to the people and meeting them where they are. So an example I can give you is we had an event where we brought a bank and a credit union out, and we did an on-site account opening event for people in a transitional living facility. And so bringing that access to people is very important, and I'm glad that this office is launching and we're going to be able to increase that and bring it to the people who really need it the most. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing all of those wonderful examples of the work you and your office do. We have time for questions from the media if there are any questions. Tamara from KOV, go ahead.
Can someone speak to how this office will function? It kind of sounds like bringing all these individual programs together under one roof, maybe, and kind of elaborate how that can work.
Sure thing. We'll have Dr. Cooper for you for that one.
So as you heard me mention earlier, the 4 areas, and so our goal is to cross-collaborate across departments. We really want to embed financial empowerment first in the city services that we provide. Earlier today, we brought together department leaders who talked about some of the challenges in their department, both for staff as well as the clients that they serve. They brought to our attention some of the financial challenges that exist, so we're collaborating there. And then we want to externally collaborate, and that's why we have the partners behind us. They represent a lot of different disciplines across the city. They're thought leaders. They're very effective in their fields, and so they're going to work with us to develop a strategic plan and to execute it. And then the funders are such a creative part of that process too, who will give us guidance. A big part of our goal is to become sustainable. You've heard how we receive funding from Cities for Financial Empowerment, but we want this to be a long-term effort, improving and building the wealth of the residents of our city. And so we're taking up the reins and we're moving out, doing great things together. Thank you.
Noah, go ahead.
How important is this office going to be in the face of federal rollbacks of equity and inclusion efforts?
This office is very important. in that aspect. When we think about the way that equity and inclusion efforts have been challenged, we are very grateful for the support of the city, of our mayor, Tim Keller, who is not afraid to say the words equity and inclusion publicly, and to stand with us here today. And so when we think about the rollouts and the things that may be happening at the federal level, it makes me proud to be here in Albuquerque, knowing that we have a chance, an opportunity, and actually we feel the duty and responsibility to make sure that all of our people who call Albuquerque home have all the access to make sure that they have the ability to achieve their dreams and their visions and their goals for their families.
And how hard are these federal rollbacks going to make this office?
Yeah, so we are grateful for the partnerships that we have had with our funders. As you've mentioned, Cities of Financial Empowerment is here with us, and so we have support from various areas. We also have programming, as we described, from our proposed guaranteed income project that will be funded through cannabis equity funds, again, a source of funds. And so for those reasons, we have a lot of confidence that we'll be able to make an impact for our community. Thank you.
Any others? Great. Well, we'll just have one closing remarks from the mayor, and thanks for coming.
Remarks, that's okay. Thanks. I just wanted to add too that all across the country, foundations are stepping up to defend and protect equity and inclusion. And I just got back from the Conference of Mayors, where we were meeting, for example, with the Kellogg Foundation, and I know there's literally dozens and dozens of organizations. So this office will serve as a conduit to those foundations. And of course, I just want to highlight Cities for Financial Empowerment. They are part of the bulwark to protect this office now, and so we're grateful for them. And for all the work too that they're doing around the country. But they're just one of dozens of foundations that are now announcing they're going to continue to fund this work.
Before we conclude, we have a couple of community members that wanted to share about the impact of the Office of Financial Empowerment. So I wanted to have them come forth, Mr. Darius Smith and also Carla Causey, just before we conclude.
Good afternoon. My name is Darius Smith, and I'm a proud member of the advisory board for the Office for Financial Empowerment. And I just really wanted to share a quick story. This, this office has been advising the nonprofit that I'm the executive director of, the National Indian Youth Council. We are a nonprofit that has been operating in New Mexico since 1961. And we've also been banking with one of the partner banks for 45 years. And through this initiative last year in April, we went through a rebrand. We're now known as the Native Professional Advancement Center. And what we do is we provide workforce solutions for Native people. Here in New Mexico, statewide, we worked with 366 individuals last year. We currently have 130 participants in our program. And a lot of our participants go to UNM, CNM, SIPI, II, UNM Gallup, and San Juan College. In September, I went to the Office of Equity and Inclusion and I asked them about what is the Bank on Bouquet initiative. And they said we're providing educational resources, and they provided us some really key documents that we shared with our participants. And we started it in September, so we're just 6 months out. And at that time, only less than 50% of our participants had an online bank. And since we've been partnering with the Bank on Bouquet office, the Office for Financial Empowerment, we are now at 82% of our participants now have banks. And I share that story because it's true what the mayor and what the leadership of the Office of Equity and Inclusion is talking about, including a space for Indigenous people, and all we need is an opportunity to tap into the wealth of the banks and credit unions, and we're an example. It's working. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Carla Kazi, President and CEO of the Black Chamber of Commerce of New Mexico. And our goal is economic sustainability of our communities. And with working with the city and other financial organizations, we've been able to develop several programs. And we have a grant program that opens up the first month of every quarter. And we opened up for the first time in October of last year. We had over 40 applicants and we awarded 28 grants. And we have more coming that we will award in March. And so we're doing a lot of different programs. We're also doing a microloan program. We don't pull a credit report, and you can receive a loan from $250 to $10,000 based on your eligibility to repay it back. 5% fixed interest, and they are powered through Nucinda. We are also working just now on a down payment assistance program. And so we are going to be offering down payment assistance. And the good thing about it is we are now able to partner with banks and other credit unions and other financial institutions to be able to stack this down payment assistance. So you will get some money from the chamber, but you'll get money from the different banks as long as you qualify. And so our goal is to make sure that our community has at least $20,000 to go in with a down payment so they can buy down interest rates and things of that nature. So we are trying to move from just financial literacy to financial competency, and we're proud to be a partner with the City of Albuquerque on this program to take financial competency to the very next level. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for coming out. Have a good afternoon.